All right, welcome everybody to the Owatonna Wrestling Weekly Podcast. Coach Johnson here with Coach Hovden. High school, middle school, Min-USA, captains practice, all kinds of coaching duties there. And this week we are sponsored by Coles Electric. Coles Electric being a proud supporter of Owatonna Wrestling in many ways, but financially right now, and have been for decades.
Yeah, quite a few years.
Yeah, thank you to Coles Electric for all of your residential commercial needs. They are a proud supporter, and they keep those dollars cycling in the local community, and we just appreciate that so much. Wouldn't be able to do it without proud sponsors like that, so thank you there. We're going to rifle stuff off because you had a busy week, we had a busy week. I'll try to keep it as high level as possible, but at the same time, Friday, man, we took it to Rochester Mayo, and that felt pretty good. It's a team that we've struggled with. Yeah, we got the win last year, but last year was a lot dicier. And granted, this year they were down Sheehan at 152, the number 2 ranked kid, so a little bit of a point swing there. They also sat Funk, but I think that was just bumping them out, not wanting to see us, so I'm not going to count that. That's just flat out not wrestling him. And we ended up winning 47-18. And I'm going to rifle through some of these things because everybody cared about team points all the way down, which was great. Like Miles Aase had a late match push in order to get the major 8-0. They forfeited to Caden Lindquist, so they bumped away from him, bumped to Jacob Wilson, who had been sick most of the week, didn't have a practice under his belt since Monday, still comes out, gets the win over Blake Steffes. That was awesome.
Nice.
That was such a great great battle for him. Gabe Robb, who we felt like was going to, and he was bumped up and Wilson was bumped up. Gabe Robb, we had a feeling he was going to beat Victor Peterson, but he's just been so clutch lately, and catching him for the pin was a huge team point winner right there. Parker Casas at 139 as a senior, he's just rolling, and honestly, he loses a 5-9 match to Andrew Trimble, but came back at the end in order to make it just a decision. And I think if he wrestles that match again, it's going to be a little different. Like Casas came out a little timid in the first minute. Trimble had a couple of quick takedowns there, but then really settled down, and the rest of the match was Casas's. So that was awesome right there. And then rolling through pins with Hiatt and Glende. Unfortunately, Riley Kreeger went down with a really gruesome injury default with his knee. Still waiting on actual results from that and everything. So he was leading in that match, though. So that's a little bit of a point swing there, not to our advantage. RJ, who we're going to have on here in a little bit, RJ Reinardy, came out, took care of business with a pin. And then Carter Flatland, he also kept his match very, very close with a late takedown. And same thing, man. He and Parker Casas are a lot alike in that they're extremely strong, big-time hustle guys, still kind of figuring out exactly their move set. And so it feels like every second and third period belongs to those guys. And so if we can just get the first period going, then it's going to be a little different. Blake Fitcher took care of his kid with a pin. And then Kaden Keller went against number 9, Caleb Loomis, who's a sophomore standout and just an absolute beast, I guess, on the football field, too.
I think he looked pretty big for... I mean, just not big, but just big. He's a big kid for a sophomore.
Right. And but Kaden Keller went out and, man, he was... Honestly, Keller got sort of caught, when he was on top. Otherwise, he looked pretty dang solid. And so I think that was a big turning point for Keller, realizing, hey, I belong here. These aren't just these legends that are going to overpower me. So that was cool to see, too. And thank you to all the fans. We'll get into a little bit why we had so many people there, but because the middle school was there watching, too. But, man, that was pretty electric, and to do that to Mayo in their home gym was awesome.
It was nice.
Proud of the team overall there. And then the next day, boys, we were at Hayfield. They go by Westfield for the sake of wrestling. For the Dave Erickson duels. We went 3-0 on the day. We had LARP, Lewiston, Altura, Rushford, Peterson, who they're always strong, and they had a few ranked kids. They had three ranked guys there. They're in the lean and mean right now. They have a few holes in the lineup, and so we went 41-26 against them. That was just a great duel. We had guys like Gabe Robb going against number 4 ranked kid, and Gabe got a takedown late in the match to keep it away from attack. We had Trey Hiatt went out and pinned the number 5 ranked kid in the state, Quentin Bedhauser, in a cradle. We were lighting stuff up. Everyone came to wrestle that day. So I do want to highlight both Trey Hiatt and Blake Fitcher, who have been in a heated battle, got their 50th pin. And Trey will tell you, well, technically I got it first. It was in the same duel. So Blake's just higher in the lineup. But yeah, they each got their 50th pin. A couple of other cool things that stand out. Jacob Ricks got his first varsity win as a pin against Westfield. Will Frantessel, freshman at 160, recorded his first varsity win, so that was cool for the Frantessels. So these guys that we've seen for years and years and years, starting to break through. We want to cycle them in. We want to work them in as much as possible. And quite frankly, Will, we had Riley out with that knee injury. Nathan Groundley was out for a band ensemble that day.
Yeah.
We worked in Jace Fearing into 139. Poor guy has just kind of been in and out of the practice room, but we're really confident with some full-time, practices and stuff. We're excited about Jace, but Parker Casas was at band ensemble. So we were down wrestlers, and yet we went 41-26 against LARP. Against Westfield, we went 46-21. Against Dover-Eyota, we beat them 42-25. So took care of business all day. Lindquist, Trey Hiatt, Colton Glende, and Blake Fitcher all went 3-0 on the day. And, we just felt really good about ourselves coming out of that. And then the girls weren't far away. They were at the Pine Island, the 4th annual Pine Island Girls Classic. Had a couple of placers there, starting off just weight order.
Yep.
Number 3 ranked, Kayla Pastica, had a tough match. That's the third time I think she's faced, or it was the second and then third time she's faced Zoe Rodas, who's number 2 ranked against South St. Paul. She beat her the first time a week ago only, but then lost twice to her. So she went 1-2 in the day, but both losses to
the number 2 ranked.
Number 2 ranked. And her one win was against, she tech-falled number 7 ranked Stevens from Farmington. So ranked girls all day for her. Took 4th, but really nasty bracket. And then Isabel Townley just on fire and did not stop that string. So number 6 ranked at 106, makes it all the way to the finals. But she started off with a solid pin against Kylie Knutson of Fillmore Central, I believe. Then had the number 4 seed, but number 9 ranked, Molly Schaefer from Zumbrota, pinned her in a butcher. It was extremely nasty. It was cool to see.
Nice.
Took care of business. And then so Isabel was the 5 seed. So then in the semis had the number 1 seed, Bartz from Roseville, who is a tank, like an athlete. And it was one of the coolest matches. Apparently, Coach Ewell and Coach Sorensen said that even bystanders were talking about how cool it was. I watched it; it was just wild and wild in solid wrestling and scrambling ways. Yeah. Isabel ended with a late takedown in order to go up 13-12 and secure the win, and just battled the entire time. We were talking as coaches Townley used to be so good on top, but then the other positions were kind of 50-50.
Not no more.
Now you can't hold her down. Now she's still a beast on top. And now on her feet, besides a few moments, like this, the Bartz that she wrestled had a blast double, like a lightning quick double. So some stuff to work on, a little bit of feeling that. But whereas in years past, if she gets beaten to the legs, it was kind of done. Man, she rolled her through. She was just absolutely fighting like a dog. It was awesome. So,
good.
Yeah, Townley's so tough right now. So, yeah, she did that and then had the number 2 ranked Ava Schultz of STMA and lost a tight one there too, 10-7. So, took 2nd place, but in a tournament that was stacked with ranked wrestlers. So, that was cool to see. And then up at 148, Aaliyah Fitcher. So she ended up taking third. She was the second seed. Only had 7 girls in her bracket total, so a small bracket. Yep. Injury defaulted and then finished with 2 wins after that. So, yeah, it took third place, but who knows?
Yeah,
really how that would have gone. So she's still struggling with the ankle, and that's going to be kind of looks like a battle that's going to keep happening throughout.
Yep.
So we'll see how that goes, but wishing her healing to keep getting better.
Yes,
she needs it bad. Yeah. Lucinda Ornelas keeps gaining a lot of confidence. So we put her in a JV for that fact of like giving her confidence, and she took third place, and it sounds like she could have easily made the finals, but went 3-1 on the day, looked impressive. Good for her. Lucinda's a hard worker in the room, and yeah, you're behind number 6 ranked Isabel Townley.
Yep, it's a little tough.
Yeah. And then Harmony Pipkins at 170 took 4th place, 2-2 on the day. She's, once again, a second-year wrestler. We say this every time, but like we say it to her too because she has such high expectations for herself. It's like, hey, you're only second year.
Yep. Give it time.
Yeah, it's not all or nothing right now. So just have patience, and it's about progress and learning, and she's doing a great job. And then our newest girls, Aaliyah Glende got her first win on JV. She took 6th place on the JV 112 bracket, so congrats to her. She has a nasty bar arm when she's on top. I got to watch that match. And then Brindley Johnson didn't place, but battled really hard, and both of them, I'm hearing from the coaches, are just extremely quick learners.
Yes, they are. I mean, honestly, they've only had maybe 7 practices.
Yeah.
Ever. They've never wrestled before, and they jumped in on the junior high season. We're like, nah, these girls gotta get out there and see what competing's about, and now it's just getting some basics down.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's great. Well, so that was our weekend, and then this week, so this Thursday alumni night, we have a quad. It's with Austin, Mankato, East, and Faribault, and that's the order that we're going to be wrestling them. That starts at 5 o'clock with Austin. We're going to be in both gyms. So all varsity is going to stay in the Fed gym. All JV is going to be in the Augs gym. We'll have 2 mats in there. Just letting you know on that way. And 5 o'clock we start with Austin. Round 2, we have Mankato East. Like, okay, Mankato East. Yeah, they knocked off number 7 ranked Northfield in a duel, and it wasn't a fluke. Like going through the weights, it was straight up. They beat Northfield, and we have lost to Northfield. So now we're really game planning hard. We got to take them seriously.
Yep.
And so we have them second round, which should be approximately 6:15. We're going to do a little alumni appreciation between round 2 and 3. So right before the Faribault match, we'll do a little alumni night stuff. And then, so that should be about 7:30 or so in the Federated Gym. One thing to point out, as always, this is an official varsity match. And so for any home Owatonna high school sport, it is cashless. You got to go on your hometown app and download the tickets that way, purchase the tickets that way. So no card or cash is accepted at the door. Once again, get your tickets early. This will be streaming on Owatonna Live. We'll have the live broadcast on the radio on the cows as well. So that'll be great. And yeah, so alumni night this Thursday, come on down.
This Thursday.
And we got a couple of trinkets for all the alumni that show up. So we have, as always, some giveaways. I think this year is going to be pretty sweet.
Yeah. From what it sounds like.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but it's worth coming.
Exactly. And then the next day, just the girls are heading to the 3rd annual Simley Girls Classic, which we always do well at. That's a really well-ran, efficient tournament. So they're doing that Friday night. And then Saturday, our whole team except for 9th graders are heading to the Casson-Swala Duels. That is a nasty, nasty tournament of 5 of the top-ranked teams in the state. And it's a good measuring stick.
Yes.
It's a good proving grounds. But we enjoy that type of competition. It gets us kind of ready. And then the 9th graders have their individual qualifier over at Jackson County Central. So just a few things this
Yeah.
week. How about you guys?
Oh, well, we'll run over. Last week we had a match Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and a tournament on Saturday. So on Tuesday we were up at Shakopee with Shakopee and Scott West. We had 30 matches that night. So if you want to try and keep count of these matches, we had a
30,
total
okay.
of 30 matches that night. I'll just a couple names pop up here. Lucas Ewell, Kason Lindquist, Colton Lindquist, Mason Sorensen, Callan Lindquist, Cassie Volson, Patrick Nichols, Cole Cahoon, Lucas Casas, and Pierce Laux. They all got pins that night.
Nice.
And that's just, a rundown. There's more stuff I would like to say, but I'm going to keep this one short. And then Thursday night we went to Northfield, wrestled with Northfield, Oak Grove, Valley View. So it's like a Bloomington, Jefferson type area schools, and then Oak Grove is their own middle school. So there was three different middle schools there.
Okay.
We had 37 matches that night.
We're at 67.
67 now.
Okay.
So I just out of that night, I want to say Quinn Delhanty got his first win. That was awesome to see, though. I mean, everybody. It was about time.
He's such a sweetheart.
Yeah, he
Love
puts
that
in the
kid.
work, and he comes to practice. He doesn't miss nothing, unless he was sick. And finally got his first win, so that was great. I got that one highlighted. That's all I'm going to say about that night.
Good job, Quinn.
We did win that match. We did win it. We did win at Shakopee, too.
Okay.
And then Friday, we went over to Mayo. So we wrestled before the high school, the JV and the varsity. Mayo doesn't have a junior high. They don't have a junior or middle school program, so their middle school practices with their high school, and I'll say this: we can tell that them kids are pushed like a high school practice, which is good, but yet it is not good to a sense. In a smaller program, yes, you're going to have to do that.
Yeah.
Bigger program, no. It didn't go primarily as well as I thought. We were giving up some weight, giving up some age on some of the matches, just so our kids could get matches. We only had, I think there was only 14, that night, 15 matches. So,
82.
15 matches. We're at 82. Owen Flatland went 2-0. He was the only one that went 2-0.
Okay.
He's the only one I think that got two matches.
Sure.
The other 14 kids, they only got one match. And then Saturday, we had our Mankato East tournament, round robin. There were 6 teams. It was only 13. It was like a true match, so 13 kids.
Sure.
So all our extras that, some of them are just way too small, don't even weigh 80 pounds, so they can't even be on the team. They took everybody's extras and had a little 4-man tournament.
Cool.
Over on the other side.
That's
so
awesome.
everybody got 3 matches. No matter what. Everybody got 3 matches. The first round, we beat Waterville, Elysian, Morristown, Janesville, Waldorf, Pemberton.
Wenjept.
Yep, we beat them 46-27. Second round, we had Mankato West. We beat them 51-24.
Nice.
And then we ended up going against Zumbrota in the finals.
They're pretty good?
Yep, they're pretty good, but I'm going to say this, we scored more points this time than we did last time. Last time I think we only scored 9 points. This time we scored 19. We lost 19-47. We took second place. We lessened that gap. Casson Lindquist. Last time we wrestled Zumbrota, the same kid, he he lost in overtime. This time he beat him 6-1.
Nice.
So great improvement there.
Because you saw him at Ellsworth?
Yep,
Right?
we seen him at Ellsworth
Cheesehead?
at the Cheesehead in the finals. That's where we met him.
Okay.
I know Coach Jay did promise, he said to the kids, if they upset Zumbrota, that he would take them to Crumble Cookie, and them kids went nuts for a cookie. I'm like, hey, we can just go to Quick Trip and get the same thing. But, they want to go to Crumble Cookie. But so we ended up with extras on the individual tournament. They all got 26 matches. We ended up with over 160 matches last week, just for our junior high. So, and that's a lot of wrestling without a lot of practice in there.
Yeah.
So I mean, but the kids are doing great. I feel this team, as long as we can still stick together and push through the new kids coming in, the advanced kids, everybody works together. This team has got something coming. There's some good numbers there.
That's awesome. Yeah, and it's kind of the first crop that now is going to be having multiple years of weight training during the season. Hopefully, we're going to talk a little bit about off-season weight training as we near the end of the season. But I'm really excited about that. And then what do you have this Saturday then?
This Saturday we have I think it's called the not the Big Nine Conference. Big South
BSC.
Big South Conference tournament here in Owatonna. 10 teams come here. We start wrestling at 10 o'clock in the morning. So it's like a conference tournament for middle schools. So we got that starting on Saturday. Tomorrow we head to Faribault. Mm-hmm. And then Thursday, I don't think we're coming up to.
Now you're just coming up to watch.
We're canceling practice, I think, early that day, and we're going to make sure we're here by 5 to see all the wrestling.
Yep.
And then Friday practice, and then Saturday tournament here at the high school. 10 o'clock in the morning it starts.
Yeah. No, that'll be cool. If you want to come support, it's going to have the same look and feel as the Stockwell, I believe, with the formats in the Fed gym and just good wrestling overall. And kind of speaking of that same feeling, Friday night youth so we're hosting 3 straight days where youth at the middle school has another one of their Friday night rumbles. So that's awesome too. A big fun week. Little reminder out there, and I know Jolene Flatland and some other people have been great about hunting people down to help and just getting the word out that, we still need a little bit of help, I believe, at both Friday and Saturday. So please go out. If you're a wrestling parent, check the Dibs tab on the OwatonnaWrestling.com website to see those open positions and everything, because all help is appreciated.
Yeah, and where we're really needing some help is the table worker. So you get a front row seat.
Yeah.
And it's really simple to run them scoreboards now. You just basically hit a button to stop and start the time. Hit a 3, hit a 2, and hit a 1. That's about all you got to do.
Yeah. It's you might think it's daunting to be running something like that. It's so super easy.
Yeah.
So that'll be a fun way to round out the middle school. Not quite entire year.
No.
You guys are going to be coming down to Albert Lee and next week with us and everything like that. But this is cool that we're able to host it. I have a feeling we're going to be doing that for some time to come. You see kind of a pattern here, right? Like we're bringing stuff here. We're being the hub for all of these different age groups, and we hope to keep that going, go back to those days where we are who people look to host tournaments. So that's awesome. Well, coming right up, speaking of that hometown feeling and everything like that, we have our captain, 172-pounder, RJ Reinardy, and right now there's no better name that's been in this program now than Reinardy. We've been saying those names forever, so stay tuned. All right, welcome back to the Owatonna Wrestling Weekly podcast. We're now joined with the Owatonna senior captain, Mr. RJ Reinardy. How are you, sir?
Pretty good. How about you?
Good. Now, when was the last time you were on the podcast? Maybe 2 years ago? Was it last year? A little bit?
I think I might have done it last year, but for sure 2 years ago.
Okay, gotcha. I think you're a little better on the mic now too, and more self-confident. That's good. So he's the youngest of 3, Jacob, then Michael, then RJ. And, that sounds extremely easy growing up, being the youngest of 3 brawlers, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, RJ, coming into this senior year, you made it to state as a sophomore, and then had a really stacked bracket last year at sections, so that kind of got in your way a little bit. Plus, you were up a weight class last year and stuff. Take us through a little bit of the mindset when you started coming into your senior year.
Just kind of knowing that it's my last year, and I don't really have the time to sit and think I can always do it next year anymore. Mm-hmm. Just kind of knowing that I got to put it all out there this year and kind of just be ready for whatever I have at sections.
Right. And so for those of you who don't know, RJ is a very high percentage pinner. I think last year I believe he had 23 wins and 22 were pins. And even, I'm sure in the win that wasn't a pin, you probably threw him at one point during the match and everything. So in terms of how have you sharpened up your game? You know, you used to be purely kind of like a cow catcher type of guy, but now you actually have like a whole assortment of throws. Like, what kind of went into that being such an upper body based guy?
Just knowing that the like one move kind of stuff isn't always gonna work. You kind of got to get them off balance, make them think you're doing one thing, and then do another thing.
Yeah, I think now I've seen you threw the Adrian kid in double overs. You've thrown multiple headlocks all over the place. You've thrown reverse headlocks, and your full blown kind of cement mixer type of thing. Let's see. I don't think you have the roll through cement mixer yet. I think that's still out there.
That's too risky.
I know.
I like that too.
You're not going to just hit that on Owen Murphy all of a sudden? No.
Hit that freshman year, though.
Yeah, okay. Well, and I really like, personally, you know, I've been very invested in how you've improved, especially with my baby, the Underhook series. And this past week, take us through a little bit of your Dover-Eyota match a couple of days ago, kind of the sequence of events. It's pretty wild.
So I think the main thing was I'd end up throwing him, but I'd end up getting really high on him, and it'd end up with like an escape, reversal. I'd get him back down, but I'd end up high again, escape, reversal. And then it was just all of that for the first 2 periods and kind of got gassed out in the third.
What do you think was going through his mind when he kept locking up with you after he had already been thrown like 4 times? Like, what?
Maybe he thought it was finally going to work.
We had to take a break just to get the points straight, especially with this new scoring system, and went over with the Dover-Eyota coach, and he's like, "Oh my God, this is wild! Like, I don't even know. It's not like we were arguing over points. We just legitimately were like, crap, what just happened?" Yeah, and yeah, so that was funny because then we come out of it and you throw a headlock immediately and pin them anyway. But yeah, and one thing I really like, RJ's got an old school half Nelson, like really, really hard half. Really like, so explain a little bit of the evolution that you've had in your half, especially this year now.
Starting out, you know, it was kind of just trying to power them over with just a regular half, and now it's kind of waiting for them to get up a little bit, use the cross ride.
The thigh pry.
Thigh pry,
Yep.
And then kind of waiting for them to get up a little bit, putting my hips into it too, and getting the wrist.
Yeah, like this. Yeah, exactly. The Dover kid, like, gave you that. He tried to do that, the actual Granby roll, while RJ had the half, and sure enough, just, you know, hipped over twice. I think that's how you ended up pinning him. Yeah, that was slick. And so we're halfway through the season. I mean, about 6 weeks left of the high school season. Big match this upcoming week. East has some good upper weights and stuff like that. But personally, what are you looking forward to most in the schedule coming up here?
I would say probably Albert Lee. I'm excited to see how we do this year against them because last year didn't go the best. And obviously Faribault. Faribault's always fun to do just because of the fans and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this upcoming Thursday, little plug here once again, is our alumni night, the 23rd, starting with Austin at 5, then Mankato East, and this is not your grandma's Mankato East. They knocked off Northfield a few weeks ago, so we are gearing up full force, and then we're going to finish the night with our rivals, Faribault, just because that's extremely fun anyway. But yeah, RJ last year against Faribault started to get headlocked and then rolled him through. I forget how that went.
I reached over. I grabbed his chin from the feet. He got it. Kind of had me in a butcher on my back, and then I got up and then threw a headlock.
And then you threw a headlock. Okay, gotcha.
So there was a headlock thrown.
Yep.
Okay. Right. So, yeah, it's always electric to have RJ out on the mat. But also, I mean, heck, I don't think anyone holds you down anymore. I don't think you can be ridden anymore. That inside stand is just solid and everything. So, We just wrestled Mayo and absolutely took it to him last Friday. Take us through that match. That was pretty cool.
Forgot how I even took him down originally. But I remember I took him down, then kind of had him a couple seconds on top, and then he ended up getting out. At the end of the first period, he got in on my leg, took me down. Then I chose bottom in the second period. I was able to stand up to my feet, and then I had an underhook on him, and then I kind of felt him pressuring in a little bit, so I took the underhook and then threw him in a headlock.
Yeah. And there was a half in there, too.
Yep.
I think he drove a half thigh pry and got backs. He might have reversed you through it.
I think he did.
Yeah, but at least that started that. So that was a huge night. What was kind of going through your head? Because at that point we kind of had it locked up, and then they didn't send out Jacob Nelson at you. So what kind of goes through your head? You got bumped away from twice in the last couple of days. Like, when someone does that, what are you thinking?
I think it gives me a little more confidence.
Yeah.
But just got to go out there and still wrestle, get as much points as you can.
Right. Now, RJ is super smiley until stepping on the mat. What's in your headphones before a match?
Kind of depends on my mood.
Okay.
Sometimes it's like some rock, like Deftones, Nirvana, stuff like that. Sometimes it might just be some chill music. The other day I had some Lady Gaga going in there.
I can say this, when his playlist pops up at captain's practice, it's like, okay, we got to wrestle. He had, I think it was Enya one time or something on them lines, just blaring in the wrestling room. I'm like, I can't take this. You got to pick something else. This is just too soft.
That's crazy for you to be listening to stuff like that and then go out and like belly to belly suplex.
Yes.
Like, that's nuts. All right. Okay. I knew you had kind of an eclectic taste, kind of a little of each and everything, but gotcha. Well, I was just going to, so like I said, we don't need to go through your whole backstory because you've been on here a lot and everything like that, but so freshman year, we technically, brought you along to a few things, but I mean, man, you were wrestling out of weight and everything like that. Sophomore year, like I said, went to state, took that opportunity when that arose. Last year was kind of a hard row to hoe because suddenly we had Albert Lee back in the section and everything, and you had stacked. So where do you see, like, what's your goal for the end of this year individually?
Making it to state for sure, and just having a better state tournament than my sophomore year. Sure. Making it to the second day.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, you're so dangerous. Yeah. You just never know. So I love that for you, too. And as strong as you are, and now you're wrestling a real, pretty much your weight. Like, it's not like you're cutting hard, but now you're not giving up pounds. Yeah. So that's cool. Coach, you had a question?
I was just going to say, probably 2 years ago we asked you this question. I'll ask it again. Out of all your years, I mean, I got a couple memories of you back in the day when you're about this big and your little Buddha belly on you, running around in a little Owatonna singlet, even before I think you were even able to wrestle. But where you got some memories, I mean, go all the way back to kindergarten till this weekend. What stands out? I mean, is it just, anything? It doesn't have to be a match. Anything. What stands out just with the wrestling family?
Probably eating after tournaments. And I just remember one thing I always think about is Fargo or Rumble on the Red. Yep. After the weigh-ins, we'd always get pizza. I just remember sitting out by the pool, got a bunch of pizza. I remember one time I think I ate like 3/4 of the pizza when I was like 65 pounds or something. I think those are some that really stand out just because those are the most fun moments of wrestling, stuff like that. And then also just the big dual meet wins, like last year with Faribault. And also just watching my brother when I was still in middle school and he was a freshman or sophomore. I really liked that too.
Yeah. Okay, if you could give any advice to some of the underclassmen, more when I say underclassmen, say about 7th grade under, what should they do that maybe that you think you wish you would have maybe done more of? I mean, what kind of advice can you give them as they're coming up into the ranks?
That's a good question.
I would say take it day by day. Don't think super far ahead. Like, oh, I still got 3 months of this, something like that. Just kind of think in the moment. Think about like how you can improve in that moment, stuff like that.
Okay.
That's great advice. Yeah, it's a grind if you really zoom out, right?
You zoom out too far, you start looking too far ahead, and then everything becomes a blur of where you're supposed to be at right now. Yeah. All right. And then nickname that I've called you since you started coming to captain's practice, 220. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, what are you talking about? Explain. How did you get that nickname from your brother?
Because I run like a 220 pounder.
And how big were you when you got that nickname?
About 126.
So at captain's practice, we're running our sprints, and here comes RJ running sprints, and his brother's yelling at him to get going. And then his brother Jacob looks at me and goes, he runs like a 220 pounder. So ever since then, every time I see RJ, I just bell her out, 220.
What's funny is in relays, you remind me now so much of Jacob. So they both, Jacob and Michael, whenever we do 2-footed hops, these Reinardys, man, their kangaroo hops are 12 feet every single hop, and they're getting so much height and everything. It's crazy, the athletic. I think you might do that faster than you run. Like,
I think I do too.
You just launch every single time. But all three of you did that. Like, it's just such a crazy athletic thing to do.
And to that, I bet you I know one of the stories why they can do that so well. So when they were all little, Ron, his dad, would come to the gym. Well, these three couldn't be left home alone, so Ron would bring them to the gym, and one would sit on the sled, and the other two would have to push up and down the gym.
Oh, geez.
While Ron was working out, and that's all they could do. And then every once in a while, Ron would give them a dumbbell, and they could work out with some dumbbells. But yeah, Ron would make them just push each other around on the weighted sled in the gym.
Jeez, built tough. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'm really excited where your wrestling career is going and everything. But how about post high school? What's kind of on the docket for you there?
It's still not like fully decided, but I got an idea of what I want to do for a career. Something with a trade. Mm-hmm. Just electrician, plumbing, masonry, maybe.
That's smart. It's really smart these days.
I think I want to continue doing like something like jiu-jitsu, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Staying active.
Yep, and continue lifting.
Yeah, if you went like judo, man, you'd be really good.
I've thought about that too.
Yeah, holy crap. So, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. And, we love having you, especially as a captain. I'll never forget when we talked to you about this, and we kind of wanted to hear your side of, lobbying for yourself to be a captain. It was the greatest thing was you expressed that, when you were JV as a freshman, you felt kind of like a second-class citizen, like you were kind of being treated in a way that you never wanted another kid to be treated. And I thought that was so incredible for you to be able to have that maturity and just that desire to make sure everyone's having a good experience with this sport. And it's like, boom, right there. Coach Jay and I looked at each other like, yeah, he's got it. Like, that's awesome. So love what you've been doing you've matured so much. You were always kind of like the mascot, like the cute little youngest RJ Reinardy here, but now you're definitely a leader in all ways, and we definitely appreciate that, man. So thanks for coming on.
Hey, congratulations on the past, and good luck in the future.
Thanks.
It's been fun watching you grow up.
Yeah. Let's get you to state, bud. How about that? Awesome. All right. Well, thank you. That's all we got for the Owatonna Wrestling Weekly podcast. Coach Hovden and I. And, hopefully next week we're talking about all the dominance that we had all over the place. So
see you later.
See ya.